Today I'm going to talk about a controversial sci-fi film that will be very controversial in 2018. Story begins. A meteorite fell on top of a seaside lighthouse. After that, a wall of light started from the lighthouse. 3 years later, this area becomes very large. It was like the Earth was blowing a big ball. During 3 years, people did not know anything about it, because no one has yet come out of it. Machines, animals or humans have been in it. Then one will not return, including Lena's husband. Suddenly, the husband had gone missing for a year. She is very excited. It's just that, the returning man is very strange, cold and slow, like becoming a different person. She asked where he went, he said he didn't know. Then he started vomiting blood. Not in time to the hospital. A group of police to block their way, take the husband away and make Lena go into a coma. She awoke, found herself on a secret military base. In front of the eyes is that strange space. The people here were all gloomy and heavy, was so scared that he couldn't breathe, except Lena. She watched the husband not live much longer. Wanted to clearly investigate what he had encountered, so she applies to join the next investigation team. This time, the Americans sent a female army to the battlefield, include psychologists, physicists, and geographers, military medicine, and Lena, a biologist. They passed through the strange wall of light. Later, Lena accidentally found out. They set up camping gear, heard the tent was up. Furthermore, calculated by the amount of food to bring. They were here for 3 or 4 days. But beyond the memory of walking through a wall of light, they don't remember anything anymore. There's no other way. Can only bear, keep going forward. The deeper you go, the more strange it becomes. Water flooded the house. The warehouse was covered by trees. There was a very large tree in the lake. Flowers everywhere. Lena looked at the flowers and was surprised. These flowers are not of the same type, but grows on the same vine. Suddenly the physicist was dragged into the house. The group of people immediately ran in. She screamed that something was pulling her bag. Together they pulled her up. Just ran to the shore. The house made a loud cry. A giant crocodile jumped out of the water. Crawled towards their direction. Strangely, its body was very white. It opened its big mouth and spurted blood. It shot at him, but it couldn't. In the end, Lena shot her in the mouth, and also defeated it. They then examined the crocodile's body. Lena realized the odd thing was, the crocodile's teeth are again the teeth of the shark. They cannot understand. The only thing they know. This place shouldn't stay too long. They continue to walk along the river. Find a military base that can rest. The horror has only just begun. They noticed that the previous group of people had been taking turns guarding overnight. Why must the night watch? They found a file bag. It says, leaving the next group of people. It's a memory card. They open it up. The picture in it is Lena's husband and his fellow. The man cuts the other person's belly with a knife. Discovered inside not human organs. It was a pile of fibers falling like a swarm of snakes. The medical officer quickly turned off the camera. The physicist seemed to want to vomit. The medic started screaming. She couldn't believe this was the truth. The girls started arguing. Then they discovered something weirder. Transforming the body of a man. It blooms like a flower. The organs have been replaced by the branches. The whole body has become a unique picture. Lena took samples from the corpse for research. That evening there was an observation and recognition microscope. New year in this specimen may continue to mutate. Lena walked out, found a psychologist. She asks why her husband is taking part in this supposedly suicidal trip. The psychologist said again, not suicide, but self-destruction. People rarely commit suicide, but always have a self-destructive mentality. Examples are smoking, drinking, or even cheating. Lena understood, because her husband discovered her cheating, but don't want to hurt her. The pain made him self-destruct, so he joined this trip. Suddenly a loud sound rang out, and she put on her night glasses. The wire mesh was broken. The geographer immediately came to help, but it was too dark and they couldn't see anything. Suddenly a monster rushed over to the geologist, drag her into the woods. Lena can't catch up, can only go back. The lucky ones who are still alive are arguing more, especially military medicine. Her spirit was already in decline. They keep going, to a residential area. The fruits attracted Lena's gaze. Unexpectedly they have human figures. Physics say at this point, this is human. The light rays here can cause all of the DNA to occur refraction. Make people turn into plants, animals turn into another animal. Then they arrived at a house. The medical officer looked at his hand. It seemed like something was moving in the palm of his hand. After that, Lena secretly tested her blood. She found her cells were dividing too. Lena regained consciousness, found himself tied on a chair. It was the military medicine that tied them up. She went insane. She thinks the geologist was killed by Lena. Then she decided to do the same as her predecessors, cut open Lena's abdomen. At this moment the geologist cried for help from outside. Help me, help me. Help me, help me. Military medical officer ran out with a gun. A bear. No, not a bear. A mutated beast burst into the house. It has no eyes. His mouth kept emitting a geologist's cry for help. Lena whispered, "Don't move." The bear walked around them, came in front of the psychologist, suddenly opening his mouth, bite her shoulder. The psychologist could not take it anymore, was about to cry out. At this time, military medical staff returned. The bear bit to death the medical soldier, then turned to bite Lena. At the exact moment she was about to be swallowed up, the psychologist finally opened fire to kill it. The whole group of people was still not calm, but psychologist suddenly decided to go to the lighthouse himself. She let the other two stay. Flower, she has cancer. She must find out before she dies. Tomorrow. The physicist seems to have changed. Sitting alone, looking tired at her. Like, I have no regrets about this life anymore. She touched the arm that had begun to take root. She money forward, just go. Her roots began to grow. Lena chase her. But in the end, only a cluster of humanoid plants was found. And the physicist is gone. Lena continued walking towards the lighthouse, cross the sea, go through crystal forest. She came. It has also come. The explosive scene in the movie of destruction. There were a lot of people who didn't patiently watch this scene, but there were also some surprised people. It makes people scared, choking. In front of the lighthouse is a heap of remains, ribs in a row, skull in a row, bones and extremities at the top. Lena entered the tower. All over the place she saw white vines. She saw a hole again. She even saw a burnt corpse. Who is this? She went to the camera to watch. In it is the image of the husband. He went back to what he wanted to say himself. Then unlatched the grenade. After him I blasted the main. There was someone outside the frame who slowly entered. Is a man very much like him? What's going on? The answer is probably in the falling asteroid jar. Lena climbed inside. Inside is a very deep hole, another dimension. The psychologist sitting in there talking wildly, "Where my eyes are," she said to Lena. "It was in my body. It will grow, and I will be destroyed." After that, her mouth started to shoot light. Not the rays of light, but every single part of her body. Her is split into fragments. The fragments slowly assembled into one block. Fortunately, Lena looked at it, fascinated. Now, a drop of blood on her face was sucked in, then she saw her cells. Analyze, then split again, until the cells split hundreds of thousands of times and one formed a human being. A human, with a strange shape. Lena opened fire but did not die. She hurriedly ran away, but running outside the weird man was already standing there. She looked at it looked at her too. Lena goes, it goes too. She smacked it with a weapon. It also used a fist to fight her, making her kiss me. Next, it followed her, slowly lying down on the ground. She woke up, hastily fled, but was kept by a human, like me. She couldn't push it away, it pressed too tightly, as if wanting to swallow her into its body. Finally, she got away. She turned around, was in the same position as it and fell to the ground. When she woke up, she stopped running. She looked at it, calculating. Then she quietly walked over to her husband's corpse. Pick up is put up, give it. The opponent has changed shape. Transformed into a shape like Lena. At this point, she took off the safety latch and ran away. After that, it no longer interested her. That touched her dead husband. It is a replicating object. Just now it had copied the heroine's form and attack. This time, it copied the husband's thought of dying. The fire started to burn violently, from white vines to the hole. Looking outside, the lighthouse was on fire, even the crystal forest was on fire. This alien creature copied the meaning of self-destruction. She won. After that, she was taken back to the secret military base. People ask her a lot. She also tells the whole truth. It copies me, but it doesn't attack me. It does not destroy, it is just changing the world. Finally, Lena reunites with her husband. The man has recovered like a strange thing. She asked, "Are you him?" He said, "No." Then he asked again, "Are you her?" Lena did not reply. The two hugged each other tightly. At this time, the female lead's eyes with different colors began to change. This is the end of the movie Zone of Destruction. The man is definitely not her husband. But Lena also started to change. All the DNA structures in humans are modified. She, also not her at first. The universe is too big, too many strange things. There are too many things that humans cannot understand. But there are still people who want to go exploring, even at the cost of their own life.